What if the greatest tragedy in your life is not failure, not poverty, not rejection, not even death? What if the greatest tragedy is that you spend your entire life becoming someone you were never meant to be? Think about that for a moment. From the day you were born, people have been telling you who to be. Your parents had expectations. Your teachers had expectations. Society had expectations. Religion had expectations. Culture had expectations. Long before you were old enough to understand yourself, the world was already busy defining you. And the disturbing question is this: how much of the person you call yourself actually belongs to you? Most people never ask that question. They assume they know who they are. They point to their job, their achievements, their beliefs, their relationships, and say, "This is me." But Carl Jung and Friedrich, Nietzsche believed something far more unsettling. Jung believed that many people spend their lives trapped behind a mask. Nietzsche believed that most people never truly think for themselves. Both men arrived at a similar conclusion. Many human beings spend their lives becoming what others expect rather than discovering who they really are. Look around and you'll see the evidence everywhere. The student pursuing a career he secretly hates because it makes his parents proud. The businessman who has everything he once dreamed of yet wakes up feeling empty. The employee who longs to build something meaningful but remains trapped by security and fear. Different stories, but the same hidden tragedy, a life disconnected from the authentic self. Carl Jung called this mask the persona. The persona is the version of yourself that the world rewards. It is the identity you construct to gain acceptance, approval, and belonging. The good child, the responsible adult, the successful professional, the respected member of society. There is nothing inherently wrong with these roles. The danger begins when you forget they are roles. Jung warned that many people become so attached to the mask that they lose all connection with the person beneath it. They spend years perfecting an image while quietly abandoning themselves. Think about how often people hide pieces of who they really are. The creative child learns to suppress imagination because originality attracts criticism. The sensitive boy learns to hide emotion because vulnerability is called weakness. The intelligent student learns not to stand out because success attracts jealousy. Slowly, year after year, parts of the authentic self are pushed into the shadows, not because they are bad, but because they threaten acceptance. And so a dangerous trade is made. Authenticity is exchanged for approval. Individuality is exchanged for belonging. Truth is exchanged for comfort. This is where Jung introduces one of his most powerful ideas, the shadow. Most people think the shadow contains only darkness, but Jung believed it contains much more than that. The shadow holds every part of yourself that you have rejected, buried, or denied. Sometimes that includes anger, envy, selfishness, or fear. But it also includes courage you never expressed, talents you never developed, dreams you never pursued, and truths you were afraid to speak. The shadow contains not only your darkness, but also your unrealized greatness. Jung famously said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." In other words, many people are not living intentionally. They are being controlled by hidden programming they do not understand. They think they are making choices, yet their decisions are often shaped by fears, beliefs, and expectations absorbed years earlier. They call it destiny. Jung called it unconsciousness. Friedrich Nietzsche saw a different side of the same problem. He believed most people never become themselves because they are terrified of standing apart from the crowd. Nietzsche observed that human beings possess a powerful instinct to conform. We want acceptance. We want belonging. We want the safety that comes from agreement. As a result, we often adopt beliefs, values, goals, and ambitions that were never truly our own. We inherit them from family, culture, institutions, and society without ever questioning where they came from. This is what Nietzsche called the herd mentality. The herd does not ask what is true. The herd asks what is popular. The herd does not ask what is authentic. The herd asks what is acceptable. And because standing alone is painful, many people spend their lives following paths they never consciously chose. They pursue careers because society respects them. They chase success because culture glorifies it. They repeat opinions because everyone around them believes the same thing. They mistake conformity for identity. The tragedy is that conformity often looks successful from the outside. A person may achieve status, wealth, recognition, and admiration while remaining completely disconnected from who they truly are. This is why so many people experience a crisis later in life. They finally achieve everything they were told would make them happy, only to discover that the happiness never arrives. Not because success is meaningless, but because they spent years climbing a ladder that was leaning against the wrong wall. Nietzsche's challenge was both simple and terrifying. Become who you are. At first, those words sound inspiring, but they are far more difficult than they appear. Becoming who you are often requires questioning everything you inherited. It requires examining beliefs, values, fears, and ambitions that you have carried for years. It requires confronting the possibility that parts of your identity were never truly yours to begin with. And perhaps this is why most people never do it. Freedom sounds beautiful until you realize it comes with responsibility. Authenticity sounds attractive until it demands courage. Becoming yourself often means disappointing people. It means leaving familiar paths. It means risking rejection. It means stepping away from the safety of the crowd and facing the uncertainty of your own truth. Many people would rather live comfortably inside a false identity than confront the fear that accompanies genuine freedom. Yet the cost of avoiding that journey is enormous. Every dream abandoned for approval, every truth silenced for acceptance, every talent buried to avoid criticism, every authentic desire sacrificed to meet expectations. These losses accumulate quietly over time until a person wakes up one day and wonders why life feels empty despite all outward success. Perhaps that is the real tragedy Jung and Nietzsche were trying to expose. Not that people fail, not that they suffer, but that they never discover the person hidden beneath the layers of conditioning, expectation and fear. They spend decades becoming what others wanted while neglecting the individual they were capable of becoming, and so the question remains. If every label were removed from your life, your profession, your social status, your beliefs, your reputation, your achievements, even the roles you play for other people, who would remain? Would you recognize the person standing there? Or have you spent so long wearing the mask that you have forgotten the face beneath it? Perhaps the greatest adventure is not conquering the world. Perhaps it is discovering yourself before time runs out. Because in the end, the most successful life is not the one that earns the most approval. It is the one that has the courage to become what it truly is. Welcome to the Conscious Chamber.